Welcome to Wednesday night, Musical Osmosis, where intelligent dissonant thought meets melodic euphonious reality. I am your musically magnanimous host, Nick the Saucy One Catsaurus, broadcasting to you live from the shadow of Hurricane Mountain here in Tennessee. And I want to go ahead and get in my producer, Dee, because tonight we've got a special co-host. Dee, are you with us?
Yeah.
Hello, darling.
Hi. What up, what up, what up?
Nothing. I'm just getting over an amazing dinner that you cooked this evening. You're spoiling us with Christmas goodies.
It is Christmas, man. I'm like, okay, I need Oreo truffles, I need deep fried wings, I need everything that I can make. I mean, and I got new toys for Christmas. And to me, a new toy is like a food processor and deep fryer. And,
yeah,
you know.
We already did our Christmas. And I'm popping Tums. I'm popping Tums right now, just trying to get my stomach settled from all the goodies I ate today. All right, so usually we have Odell on the line, co-hosting with me. However, this close to Christmas, we had decided we weren't going to do a show this week. But then I got the opportunity to actually have Korey Clarke on today from Warrior Soul. Sorry, there's a train going by. I had a chance to have Korey on today from Warrior Soul, and I didn't want to wait another month. This is the kind of interview you want to hop on and do it ASAP, and I was so excited. However, Odell was gracious enough to say, go ahead and do the interview without me. I wanted to get a co-host in here because I love having someone else to mix it up with. First guy I thought of, you guys know him from a couple shows back when we did our Wilmers Park tribute show, my buddy Warlock. Hello, sir. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. How you doing, sir? Happy Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Yeah, you don't have to be politically correct. You can say Merry Christmas here. It's a safe space.
Yeah, we don't care.
You're actually allowed to.
I just want to touch all the bases since I'm liberal.
Right. Well, you left out Kwanzaa, so I'm sure someone's pissed off somewhere out there.
Oh, yeah. Happy Hanukkah. I'll cover that one.
Please do. So, real quick, let's get all the promo stuff out of the way. We've got this Sunday. I know Dee's excited. I'm excited. It's our big end-of-year show.
Sunday.
We have, from Quick Draw, from the new HBO show, The Loop. You know him as the Geico Caveman. I know him as one of the sweetest men alive, John Lear. We love having John on. He is always...
Oh, my God. He's so... And not just because I've seen him asleep in bed with his dog, okay? Not just because of that, courtesy of his wife, who is just... I would love to meet her. She seems like such a doll. But no, he's awesome. And I'm hoping we can get some news on Quick Draw. Rumor mill has it that there is something to tell. So hopefully we will have that news.
I think Sean will have some news for us. And speaking of news, we are also going to have Sheila Shondell, alternative tattooed model, and because you guys have an announcement to make, right?
Yes, we are. We're going to be combining our powers this year and doing something new. And it's going to be tons of fun. And even if we screw it up, neither of us really, You guys
are sexy enough. No one's going to care if you screw it up.
Yeah. Yeah, right? So good.
Next on the list is another one of my favorite people. Can't believe how lucky I've gotten to be able to talk to all these amazing people. We are having William Sanderson on the same episode. From Newhart, you know him as I'm Larry, my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. From True Blood and from Deadwood and a multitude of other things. Like he was in Blade Runner, and I didn't even make that connection because it had been so many years since I've seen that movie.
Yeah,
so,
I've never seen it. So.
He's been in everything. William's always awesome. And then on the Kettle of Fish after show, presidential candidate who promises a pony to everyone who votes for him, and he wants to put us all in dental re-education camps. He wears a boot on his head when he gives his press conference. He's Mr. Vermin Supreme.
An actual presidential hopeful. I mean, an actual, like, he's actually, I don't know, what do you call him? Is he in the running? Is he an actual presidential candidate? Or is he in the running to get the nomination?
Nothing's ridiculous anymore. There are no rules.
Right?
But
what's the title for that? Like, we have to find out the title for that, because I want to address him.
Hopeful.
Is it just presidential hopeful? See, an actual, we're moving up in the world.
He is actually on the Democratic ticket running for president, if that's the question you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
You
Craziness.
can go
Love
to
it.
the booth and see his name on the ticket, if that's the question you're asking.
Love it.
In the primaries, at least. I don't know how it's going to all pan out afterwards.
Yeah.
That is the situation. And then next Wednesday, at this very same bat channel, it's the very same bat time, The Dead Milkmen will be on. And then we've also got next year, Jay Johnson from Soap will be coming on. Sunday the 13th. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but we'll have some stuff going there. And Soundhammer, which is a cosplay band, will be on, I think, the 16th or the 9th. I'm looking at December. Sorry, it's Sunday the 10th and Wednesday the 13th. Soundhammer will be on. So we got lots of good stuff coming up. Plus, I am now writing for If You Only News. So jump on If You Only News, look up Nick Katsoris, and you can read my delightful stuff.
Yes, it is actually ifyouonlynews.com/author/Nick-Katsoris. So, yes.
All right. Well, we're waiting for Korey to call back in because he's actually calling in from Malta, somewhere in the Mediterranean Sea, I think. Let's go over what we like to do this day in rock history. Are you ready, Warlock?
Ready? Wait.
1959, Chuck Berry was arrested for taking 14-year-old Janice Noreen, who was actually, unbeknown to Berry, was working as a prostitute, a 14-year-old prostitute, over state lines. He was sentenced to 5 years, but when the judge made racist comments to him, his lawyer got the charges kicked. Did you know about this, Warlock?
Yeah, I heard a little bit of something about that Chuck Berry incident.
Yeah, that was, 60 years ago or something. All right, what else do we have on here? There's a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to hit the ones that I find interesting. During a U.S. tour, the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, with that new movie out, we all know what's going on with him, had a nervous breakdown coming off a flight from Los Angeles to Houston. He had to be committed on this day in history.
Fascinating.
No? Okay. I'm trying to get something that's going to grab you guys. Here's one that I find amazing. 1985. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I don't know what's causing that.
It's me, baby.
Okay. 1985, during an LL Cool J concert in a roller rink in Baltimore, of all places, a fight broke out. One person was trampled to death and 3 people were shot. In Baltimore.
Oh, wow.
Warlock, since it was right in your basic neck of the woods. I think I lost Warlock.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get back in here.
Okay. Let me move on to the next one. You with us? Okay. Let me keep going on my Warlock and his technical issues. You with us, Warlock?
Yeah, I'm back. I hear you. You got me?
Yeah, I got you. Loud and clear. All right, thank you, sir. 1985, Judas Priest fans Raymond Balknap and James Vance shot themselves after listening to the Judas Priest album Stained Glass. Now, I do remember when that was happening. I was a kid, but I do remember that happening.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy time.
Because I mean that caused Geraldo to go into overdrive about the demon heavy metal music, and churches were like burning albums, and things got pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, dude, we got down to subliminal messaging, dude. They went all out on that one, dude.
Albums backwards, and you know what was weird. So I was listening to a Dokken album, Under Lock and Key, on tape. And for all you kids out there, I was listening to a cassette tape. Google it. And I'm listening to Dokken, and I'm playing In My Dreams. In my dreams, it's still the same. And my cousin Sophia came in. And I mean, we were 13 and 14 or something at the time. And she was a very, very churchy type person. And she's like, what are you listening to? And I said, Dokken. And she's like, this is the devil's music. And I read the lyrics. And I was like, turn all night in my dreams. I can't sleep. Night after night, don't know what it means in my dreams. What could I say or do? You won't come back, we're through. I realized too late that baby, our love is turned away. And she's like, no, that really means that you dedicate your soul to Satan. And I'll never forget this, dude. She rebuked my tape collection. But I had all my tapes like she's like, I rebuke your tapes. And this is a 14-year-old.
Oh my God.
Serious. I rebuke.
Dude, you gotta warn me when you're doing shit like that. I had a drink in my mouth. I just about came out my nose.
And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm summoning the devil out of the tapes. And I don't want you to get possessed by this devil music as you sleep. So, okay, we got a little bit off track there. Also born today, if anybody is a musician's musician, Adrian Blue, who has played on a number of albums, Benson, and, of course, the name everybody will know, household name, Eddie Vedder. It is his birthday.
Right on.
Anything, anybody. All right. On the line, and I always like to give a little setup, and this is another reason I asked you to co-host today since Odell couldn't make it, Warlock, is Korey Clarke from the band War the Soul. This is a band, and this is one of the big things I want to talk to him about. I came up in the punk scene. I listened to metal when I was really little, but from like late teens and up, I was a punk guy. I went to all the punk shows, played in a punk band, and outside of like maybe DRI and Suicidal Tendencies, Warrior Soul was one of those metal bands that could cross into every genre. And when I went to parties, we were playing Drugs God and the New Republic. We were playing the first 2-3 Warrior Soul albums. They were totally accepted in the punk community, and I think that has a lot to do with the lyrics and Korey's attitude. And I'm always amazed when there's those bands that are more than the sum of their parts. They're bigger than the metal scene. They cross over. You're not going to stick them in the same box with Poison and Warren and all that garbage. Iron Maiden is awesome. Ronnie James Dio is awesome. You're not going to put them in that box because that's a very exclusive sound, to a very exclusive. But when you have something like Warrior Soul, what drove me and something that kind of imprinted on my musical DNA when I was writing was the attitude. I can only describe it as like renegade rock, like just iron fist down your throat. It is what it is, rock. And I know you said when we said it meant his lyrics meant a lot to you, right?
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick. I'm going to switch phones real quick. My phone keeps dying out of the storm, so I'm see if I can get another phone and get a better signal.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get Korey in here then.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll call you right back.
All right, you got it, sir. All right, so anyways, that's my little setup. Like I said, Warrior Soul was a huge influence on me growing up playing music. The lyrics, the attitude, the music, it was one of those bands that were accepted in the punk scene, in the rock scene. I knew people, just regular people who've seen a couple of their videos on MTV back in the day, just kind of like didn't have a theme. You know how like a lot of times it's like, you're a jock, you're a prep, just ordinary people. Everybody loves Warrior Soul. And I think the reason has to do with the genius that is Korey Clarke's writing. So, let me go ahead and get Korey in here. Warlock, you're back with us, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, can we get out? All right, calling in, I believe, all the way from Malta. It's got to be like 2 a.m. there. Korey Clarke, what is up?
How you guys doing? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. It's a little bit actually, but yeah, totally can hear you, Korey. I want to thank you so much for calling in tonight.
That's all right, man. It's whatever. Let's rock, dude.
Absolutely, dude. And if you hear me kind of talking over you, I'm not being an ass. It's just we probably have a delay because you're on the other side of the fucking planet. Cool?
Probably, yeah. But no, it's not. It's cool, man. I'm awake. I'm drinking beer. I'm all right.
All right, well, let's do this. I was listening to a couple of your interviews. Of course, your lyrics, a lot of those are very politically driven. I'm going to try not to turn this into a political interview. You know, everything you say is right on the fucking money. So I want to jump into this. What I was saying in the intro, me and my friends were in the punk scene. We all loved and respected Warrior Soul. The metal kids, just kind of ordinary kids who don't really have a pocket of music, because back in those days, everybody was really labeled. Did you try to cast like a really wide net and was like, I want to bring in as many people as possible? Or was it like, dude, this is just who I am, and you just fucking appeal to that many genres of people?
Well, I was doing my own thing, really, but, allowing myself to expand out within, the format that people were throwing out that time. I mean, we were just trying to just destroy the Hollywood metal scene. We had enough of cherry pie and that kind of crap. So it's like, come on, I didn't really want to, I didn't want to do rock really that much. It was kind of an antiquated thing for me at that point. But all it was one way to get it. I was like about 25, and the only way I was going to get a record deal is if I played that kind of music. So I tried to do it with a real twist and make it really important sounding.
Well, I mean, you had a giant impact on a lot of us. And Warlock, I know you probably want to chime in, because the first thing you said to me was like, and you've been a musician 30 years, and the first thing you said to me is they were a gigantic, especially Korey's lyrics, gigantic impact on me. Right, Warlock?
Oh, yeah, and there was giant impact in the scene.
We're kind of losing you, Warlock.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
Can you hear me now? Well, I got to stand over here. This is the worst time I have this. Hold on.
Okay. But, yeah, I mean, and you were definitely a huge impact on people. And I'm just wondering, looking at the scene back then and knowing how labeled and divided everything was, and, you're a glam metal, you're thrash metal, you're doom metal, and now it's more because of digital technology. Everybody kind of listens to everything. You think it was better back then when things were defined, or you think it's better now that it's kind of just thrown into a big stew pot and mixed up, musical-wise?
I think it was easier to market stuff back then. You had less outlets. It was, if you had control of the purse strings of the record companies, you had the power to really, get yourself out there. Even as an independent, you could do that as well back then. But now, I mean, everything always kind of sucks anyway. It never gets really cool. You know what I mean? It just never gets really cool. It's always a struggle to go up, ahead of the crowd or away from the crowd, so you kind of, are your own individual kind of sound. And people still seem to manage to label you, but I don't know. I think in a way it was a little better before, but I don't know. It always kind of sucks.
I mean, and I agree, and it's really hard. I mean, it's hard for me to get excited, and I know I'm probably in the same age bracket as you are, and it's really hard for me to get excited over new music, and I stick things in, and it always occurs to me, like in 2009, you guys put out the story, The War Machine, and I remember that album just fucking floored me, and it still had the same punk political edge. And the thing I'm thinking is, like, how does he keep doing it year after year? How does he stay this passionate and this angry? I mean, I'm an angry old man, too, so I get it. But is it hard just, what I'm saying, just to keep up with that passion year after year after being immersed in it so long?
I know. You got to be pretty pissed off.
Yeah, they say, how does he get art to imitate life?
It's I don't know what to do. It's like you try to forgive people, but everybody's such dicks. You know, how do you do it? You know, so I guess just having that. I think it's always important for me to express how I'm feeling about stuff, and it's probably a little bit more healthy than holding it in. But the Stiff Middle Finger album's really got some cool stuff on it too.
Yeah, I mean, I was checking that out recently as well.
Yeah. Planetary Revolution, Occupy, those songs are really good stuff.
Well, let me ask you this then, just to kind of graze on the political outskirts here. You've always had a political edge. I can tell you're a political person. I definitely want to get you on our Ignorance Equation political show so we can really dig in. How much of that do you allow into the music? Do you draw a line and go, I can't make this just 10 or 12 fuck the corrupt system songs? Or do you try to find a balance, or do you just write and just let the music, just the chips fall where they may?
You know, it's chips fall where they may, really. And I don't concern myself with following a certain format. As you can tell, I've got a pretty diversified catalog. But,
yeah.
Hey, Nick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Warlock.
Cool. Hey, Korey, back in the day, you wrote Wasteland, and you called Donald Trump a money whore. How do you feel about him running for president now?
It's retarded. What is going on over there? It's crazy. I try to ignore America.
Well, you're probably doing the smart thing. Do you find that, how long have you been living overseas? Quite a while now, right?
Yeah, sometimes I come back to the U.S., but I try to avoid it.
Is it harder to write pissed off music that has a political edge in any of the songs now that you're outside of that purview, now that you're overseas, or does it make it easier because you're looking from the outside looking in?
Yeah.
Well, you definitely get a different perspective. It's so constantly beaten into your face, like this, the corporate agenda.
Yes, amen.
They just pound it into your face. And when you're overseas, it's more like you don't ever hear about it. It's like, and it's of course, the important things. If you want to get some highlights, you can tune in, the War and Peace Report, or you could find information outlets that are reasonably accurate. And you can figure out what's going on pretty easy. You don't need to be barraged, with the guys just screaming at you at every bar you go to. Just television. These guys are screaming, and maybe the volume's not on, but still the trigger's running underneath, And it's just, God, it really, I just noticed I've got less problems in my life when I'm not there.
And that's definitely interesting when you think about it. When you look back on your career, 25 plus years, when you're singing songs that have this political edge, now it's kind of trendy to hate the system, whether what side of the fence you fall on. It's trendy to hate the government, at least in this country. Do you get different feedback today than you got 25 years ago starting out?
Well, when I tour the U.S., which is very rare anymore, there's just not that many venues for me, and nobody knows who I am anymore. Because everybody's grown up. But I lost my train of thought there. But what I do when I'm playing over here, I'm really always been accepted as an artist and as a sort of a expatriate kind of defender of the people kind of thing. And that goes down pretty good down in Europe and England and wherever else. And it caused me some trouble because of in America when I was first coming out, because there's such a Republican fascist, almost like a bloodletting kind of, like these people are like ferociously insane. I remember when Bush was getting elected, these people were just like frothing at the mouth at the convention. They were like losing their minds.
Yeah, you should see it now over here firsthand. It's a fucking nightmare.
Is it bad?
Oh, man. I mean, Donald Trump's the front runner. You tell me.
And Ted Cruz is second place. He's just
man. So I guess you won't have any immigration then, will you?
Yeah, it's a circus over here. And Corey, I got a question for you about music. You did a tribute to Guns N' Roses, and you chose to do Paradise City. How did that feel after writing that great song Downtown? I mean, they're like almost kin.
Well, they handed me $1,000 cash, so I didn't really care.
Hey, that's the way to do it. Especially in the industry, man.
It's like I tried to do something different with the song. I mean, let's say I can't stand it. I've heard it so many times. Like, if you play it one more time, you want to puke. But the thing is, when you're broke and you're living in Hollywood and they call up and they say, John Corabi's going to be on this album, blah, 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 going to be on this album. We have one song left. Will you please come and sing this? We'll give you $1,000 cash. You usually go down there and do it.
Okay.
Let me jump in here real quick because I want to expand on that. You being kind of the anti-LA sound type of band, like you said, a fucking sledgehammer just trying to destroy it. How were you accepted by your peers? Did you get a lot of conflict with like a Cinderella or a Guns N' Roses or a Warrant because you were kind of making a mockery of that glam scene?
Well, Guns N' Roses really was the harder edge of that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Lane, the last time I saw Janie Lane, I was playing with a band called Dirty Rig, and we played with Warrant, opening with Warrant, in New York, and he hid away from me. Oh man, I think I had sex with his tour manager. But anyway.
Holy shit. So were you just kind of like the outsider freak in that scene, or were you fairly accepted?
They would come over the house. I mean, the guys that really liked me were Metallica. We were pretty good friends, still are friends. But, just those guys really kind of stayed to themselves. And, and Axl's, so whacked out. I mean, I was friends with his brother. We used to hang out all the time. But we never hooked up like that. And then the Poison guys were just so poison.
Yeah.
I don't know. But in hindsight, I would have been hanging out with them because they had all the chicks and all the blow.
Oh, yeah. That's partying the party by the hose and blow.
All right, go ahead, Clarke. You got it.
Yeah, talking about the new album, I've been listening to 3 tracks off of it. Payback is a Bitch, Rock and Roll Genocide, and Freak. What made you decide to go back with that more indoors and modern sound? You added a lot of old dirty rock to that, dude. I mean, that's
good question.
Mid-blues.
Well, I thought that would be a cool way to go. The studio was really good, and I was working, and the engineers and the guys working on the record with me were really good. And I thought I'd, use the people that are around the studio, the sax players, the violin guys. These guys are all hanging around the studio.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be great to put these all together into the music and make it really, organic meets modern. Try and really.
Yeah, I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
It is an amazing spiritual piece of music. How are they accepting that overseas? There's a wide open market over there.
Well, yeah, I got paid. It's a continually getting paid by that record. It's got some really big singles. I really wanted to sell Jägermeister machine to Jägermeister.
After following your fight with Geffen to get off the label and everything, how does it feel when they allow Guns N' Roses to come behind you and put out Appetite for Destruction? I mean, that to me followed your debut album. Downtown is Paradise City. The Wasteland is Welcome to the Jungle. And I listened to everything they tracked and everything that you tracked, dude, and I was like, I realized you were an artist at the time, so you were going to fight your way through that scene.
Well, I put that song 4 More Years on, which is something those guys never could possibly do. But those are wild times, man. And if you feel like those songs correlate with Appetite, I wish my bank account would correlate with appetite.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I appreciate you saying that, and I guess you could look at that as it kind of has that feel to it.
I mean, they had Metallica change their recording style. They went with Bob Rock. I'm away from the scene because I got pissed off at it, but he changed a lot of things they did, man.
Thanks. Well, I wanted to work with Bob, actually, and he refused to do it because he was kind of exclusive with them at that point.
Gotcha. Let me jump in here real quick, Warlock, because I've got to get to this. We're running short on time here. I've got to get to this origin story because I don't know if this is just a rock and roll myth that Warrior Soul actually started as a bet, and you had bet that you could have the biggest rock band in New York within 6 months, and 9 months later you were getting $1 million contract at Geffen. Is this true? You guys really started off as a bet?
Well, I gave up rock and roll, and I was just doing spoken word. And I had backing tracks and videos and, Nazi atrocities and porn and McDonald's ads. I was doing, my spoken word songs and bits, and it was called Korey, Clarke, Warrior Soul. And I played about 6 shows, and the last show I did like that, I played at the Pyramid Club on Avenue A in New York City. And the girl that was booking the show, I said, hey, how do you like the show? And, man, it was like one of the heaviest things ever, it was heavy as hell. And she goes, you really have to get a band, Korey. And I'm like, oh, God, I got to go back and do this crap again. I said, why do I need that? She goes, well, that's what people want right now. They want the band. I'm like, oh, man, I've got to go back to this. I go, all right, well, look, I'm going to make a bet. I go, if I got to put a band together, I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to have the best band in New York City in 6 months. And that's what happened. That's what I did.
Yes, that was fucking amazing. Let me ask you this. Juxtaposed against your art, do you feel like you've kind of abandoned the focus on your art to do this music thing? Because I notice you always go back to Warrior Soul, no matter how many different projects you get in. And I think Warrior Soul broke up in the mid-'90s, and you did Space Age Playboys, and then they came back. It's always back to that first impetus of Warrior Soul. Do you feel like you had to put your art career to the side, and now you're sucked into this Warrior Soul vortex forever?
Well, but it's not a bad vortex to be sucked into.
Oh, no, definitely not. Though, right?
But the thing is, with Warrior Soul, I can do anything I want. Like, the album Chill Pill is completely, different from other Warrior Soul records.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you listen to the sound on Destroy the War Machine, it's a much more industrial sound, really.
Yeah.
The other album you should really check out is what I did with Paul Raven from Killing Joke, and Paul, and who else is in? Whatever. But the band was called Mob Research. Have you heard that?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, no, I got to look into that one.
Yeah, Mob Research is my political, serious, that is the sort of the ultimate political record. And it's from Killing Joke on bass, and Mark Waite, Gemini Waite, from The Mission on guitar. And one of the drummers from Queens of the Stone Age is on that record. So you should definitely check that out. Mob Research.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm Google, man. Google. Hey, Nick, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Warlock.
Since we were talking about your spoken word thing, I want to know, as a singer and also as a musician, do you fit your lyrics to your music, or the music is, born around the lyrics that you have in your head and your vision?
It's a great question. I mean, sometimes it goes one way and sometimes it goes the other way. A lot of times, I'd say 70% of the time, I like to get the chorus first. And then I start working the words around that chorus. And the music, like I said, it's about a 50-50 split. Sometimes it's the riff that drives the lyrics, and then sometimes it's the lyrics that drive the riffs. I use Hey, if I come up with a song, I don't care how it comes up.
Oh yeah. Two questions, then I drop out of this. Who would be your ideal producer to work with? And do you still keep in touch with Rico, the first guitar player off of your debut album?
Let's see. No comment on Rico. Producer would be, I don't know. I mean, of course, we'd all like to work with Rick Rubin, just trying to think. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that I want to work with right now. But I would love to work with Steve Lillywhite or someone like that.
All right. And the reason I brought up Rico was, he was the first minority in, a big band that would sign. I mean, at the time, you're looking at glam rock. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, it's white boy party scene, and here you come out and your guitar player is a minority. I mean, it's one of the ones that made me pick my guitar back up.
Well, they gave me a lot of help for that.
I bet.
They didn't want. The first thing they did when I engineered the getting signed a bit, the first thing they did was like, we want to fire your whole band, and we want to hire a new band. And I'm like, all right, because I'm the guy that signed on the deal. So I said, okay, well, you can get rid of these guys, some of these guys, but I'm keeping my bass player, Pete McClanahan. And they're like, yeah, okay. So I got another guitar player. Guess what? He's black. And he was one of my best friends, Gerald Collins, out of Detroit. Great player.
Yeah,
And I mean, the stories are too long to tell the full list, but they really abused me and said that mixed bands would never sell on MTV.
Holy shit.
And they forced me to get rid of him. They said, if you don't get rid of him, that's okay. And I go, well, I'll just leave the label then. Talk to you guys. And they go, oh no, because you got a contract, and we're going to keep you locked up till you're 35 years old. You won't be able to put out anything. And that's what he said when I was at the lawyer's office. That's Geffen's top lawyer to my lawyer.
Yeah.
So I
can't even imagine going through that kind of shit.
Yeah, we don't have to be in the book.
Yeah, I can say that.
That's right. I heard something about you coming out with a biography. Is that true or just more internet chatter?
No, I keep threatening to do this, and it's so hard to write a book. You have no idea. It just, you start reading it like when you're writing about yourself, it's so blank. It's like, God, I'm such a loser. The program down, I just go to the bar, forget it.
But people want to read it, though, right? You're selling yourself a little short. People would love to read that book. I just read the book Fuck by Rock by Mark Manning of Zodiac Mind Warp, and I mean, that book fucking floored me.
Oh, Manning's hilarious, too.
Yeah.
We know him pretty well, and I've read some of his stuff. It's really funny, so really funny stuff. Really great guy. But, I'd love to put this book out. I know, I keep saying every January when I run a sign, it's like, okay, now it's going to be 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours at night. And then it goes down to like 2 hours, then an hour, then a half, and then it's just like, forget it, just go to the bar.
I mean, it's a monster, man. I mean, I had a semi-book deal, and my publicist actually just moved to England, and things kind of fell apart. But when I was in that process trying to put pen to paper, it was so overwhelming. It's like, okay, I could put a bit here and a bit here and a bit here, but trying to sew it all together into like this fucking Frankenstein monster of a book, it was just so much. It just all fell apart in my hands. It just dissolved in my hands when I tried to do it. So I've kind of put that on the side back burner for now.
Well, I think me and my girlfriend are going to try and really make a super attempt at it. And I think I'm just going to start with just doing the funny stories and just have the book mainly funny stories until I can come up with like a narrative bit. Penguin books or Viking press. They want to have that narrative press going on where you're like in the hospital dying or something, and you keep telling these stories, but then you wake up and the nurse is giving you IV. They want to have that little thing running through the whole book, but I think it's a bit silly. I just want to put this.
And I think your book would be honest, and that's what people eat up. I mean, just honest. That's why Manning's book was so incredible, because it's no filter. And I think people would eat that up, man, if you can just get disciplined, put pen to paper, and put it out there. Everybody's going to want to read it, I think.
I think, you could do it in almost a magazine format as well. You don't have to do like a full, huge thing. You could probably sell 2 or 3, things on that level. Like more of a comic book kind of thing would be great.
Well, there you go, man. Write your own script. You always have. So, I know you can definitely do that. Hey, Will, I got to get the last couple questions because we only got a few minutes left. And there's a couple
Can I ask one and I'll let it go with that? I just want to ask him one question.
Yeah, go ahead. Get it in.
All right. Your song Rock and Roll Genocide, I love the lyrics in it. And going from those lyrics, how do you feel about the statement that Gene Simmons made about rock being dead, in a state of death? It's not what it was.
Who said rock's gay?
Yeah, he said rock's dead, dude. He says, it's now all rap and pop.
Yeah, well, in many ways he's right, but, I look at it more like country music or jazz. It's like it's taken that sort of slot. Instead of being the number one entertainment thing, it's kind of become more of a specialized, it's grown up. It's and well, let me keep, Gene, walking around, bloated out in those bucket pants. Come on, dude. Rock is dead for you, bro.
Cool. Hey, Nick, thanks for letting me be on the show, man. And Korey, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
All righty, well, thanks for jumping in today and co-hosting with me. All right, Korey, let me get to these last couple points because I've been a big fan for a long time. A couple things I want to pick your brain at because you're such an enigma. When going back to the political edge thing, do you think a band has a responsibility to, if they've got this platform, they've got an audience, they've got fans, they've got people's ears, should they be saying something culturally relevant? Should they be pointing out the corruption in the system? Or is it okay to put 4 fucking albums out about partying and getting laid?
I don't think I think partying and getting laid is pretty cool.
It's awesome. But you also mix it up with stuff that matters.
But, for me to be interested in performing it night after night, year after year, I've got to put something in that's socially relevant. I mean, I'm a rabble-rousing, fist in the air kind of, that's March on Washington kind of guy. So that's, I don't think it's for everybody though. I mean, it'd be hard for me to stomach Bret Michaels singing the kind of stuff I sing. But it's a pretty funny, and that guy's a pretty cool guy. So it's not for everybody. No, if you want to make a social statement, if you got the guts to do it and you want to stick your neck out, I think you should do it. But if not, maybe you should just go party.
Well, I mean, I'm from, like I said, the punk scene, and when I wrote music, I always tried to have a statement in there, and it doesn't have to be, of course, what your band is 100%, but I think if you've got people's ears, you should be saying something that's going to make people think, and that's why Warrior Soul was accepted in the punk culture, because your attitude and your lyrics, they were a sledgehammer. They were saying something, and people were listening to you.
Well, and it's done well for me over the years, and in a way, this fine line is finally coming of age, and people are starting to recognize it, and I do pretty well right now.
Fair enough. Okay, let me ask you about your career, because I went pretty far down the Korey Clarke rabbit hole here, looking at your career and all the different bands you've been in. And like I said, it always comes back to Warrior Soul. One thing that struck me, how does it feel playing music with a totally different band today, named Warrior Soul, playing those songs as opposed to where you started? Does it have a different energy and vibe? Or are you still the embodiment of Warrior Soul, and it just feels the same no matter who you're playing it with?
Well, I mean, obviously, for my part, it's pretty much the same. There is different feels to different players. I have players all over the world, so when one guy, I feel like using that guy for a week or so, I just call him up. Or, I can mix and match. It's kind of more like having a jazz band where you get a really good player to come in and, do the songs that you've written. And it's actually pretty refreshing because, the first guitar player, who was the first one fired out of that lineup, the Geffen lineup.
Right.
He was gone in 1993. So
damn.
I've had a revolving door with Warrior Soul for 20 years or something. Something crazy like that.
Does one lineup feel more natural than the other, or is it like I'm doing my thing and these guys are just backing my plays?
No, because I get on and I do albums with the guys that are, come in and come out. Like, for instance, Willow Lundell from Stockholm did the Destroy the War Machine record. So he has a wonderful continuity, and he's got a wide open playing style. So it's like a lot more open and less control. It's more punked out, and a lot of the personality that you find different is in drummers. Drummers can change the personality of a band like that. So
I agree.
I have two or three that I really like to work with that are explosive and really great. And there is a continuity to the music and the performances, even though I'm using different players.
All righty. Okay, let me kind of wrap it up with this. Looking back, because your career, like I said, I went down the Korey rabbit hole. It's amazing to me. I'm looking at everything you've done. Looking back then, and you were on MTV, and metal was exploding in the mid-'80s to probably mid-'90s. And now you kind of, it was everywhere. Everybody was listening to metal back then. And now you have so much different types of music. Everything's kind of a hodgepodge now. How does it feel different today, kind of like doing your thing, drawing your crowds, as opposed to when it was the in thing?
It's harder, obviously, and
does it feel more pure because you've stripped away of all that commercialism?
Well, there was more of it felt more competitive at that point. You were like really trying to compete to be the number one band out there, to be to beat the other guys somehow, to be more clever than them, to draw more people in, and that you were kind of looked at, if you sold this many records, you get a certain look, and then if another guy sold more records, you got kind of look at them like, hey, I wish I did that. Oh man, feel a little bit jealousy. That kind of feeling is going away. And maybe it's because of age as well, but I don't feel that much competition anymore. Because as far as I'm concerned, I won. But that was a major factor back then, and a big difference. I don't know. I've seen the success of the DJ culture, but I still can't imagine myself being a DJ in this music. You've got
your hand in a lot of different pies. I don't even know when you come up for air because you do so much. When do you even find time to frickin' sleep at this point? You're always doing some kind of project, it seems like.
Oh, believe me, I get plenty of rest.
Well, fair enough. All righty. One more thing. I want to talk about the actual Korey Clarke album. How is that separate from Warrior Soul, and why are you doing Payback's a Bitch? Why are you doing the solo album compared to just performing with the group? What's the different feel? What's the benefit, the payoff for you creatively?
Sometimes I want to do stuff that's, whatever doesn't fit in with a Warrior Soul record, I'd like to put under my solo project. Like sometimes I want to step way out, like the Opium Hotel series.
Right.
Opium Hotel 1, 2. That's some pretty far out stuff that I I wouldn't necessarily put that onto a Warrior Soul record. So kind of that's how I do it. If it's going to be more wild and more out and cross genres a lot, then I'll put it under my own name. And then when I get back to Warrior Soul, if I'm not in another band, when I get back to doing a Warrior Soul album, which I'll probably do this year, then I can focus on what Warrior Soul is, and give my audience what they really, really want.
So the stuff on the Korey album, is it stuff that just didn't work for Warrior Soul? Is it stuff that you feel a need to write during downtime?
It was more of a downtime kind of thing, more of a jammy record, really. It's got more of an eclectic feel than a normal Warrior Soul record would have.
Yeah, I definitely get that. All right, that's a good place to stop. We've only got a couple minutes left. Korey, cannot thank you enough. You do not know what a thrill this is for somebody who's been listening to you for 25 years. And not just music. Anybody can put in, like I said, an Iron Maiden album and be like, this is awesome. But your lyrics have resonated with me. So I want to thank you for that. That's imprinted on my DNA. And I'm sure I'm not the only person in the world that feels that way. You've probably touched millions of people through your career with your music. So a big thank you from us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and good luck with everything.
Yes, sir. And on your way out the door, please tell everybody where they can find you and what you're working on.
I've been doing some painting, and I've got some paintings laying around. Go to my Facebook and go to Warrior Soul Facebook. I think that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. I wish everybody good luck on this holiday. I hope we come through it unscathed this year.
Yeah, it's pretty damn scary out there. Korey, I'll be in touch. I want to get you on the political show because I have a feeling me and you would have an awesome time waxing political together. So I'll definitely be in touch with you, Korey.
Well, into that. Have a good time tomorrow or next day, and then have a happy New Year, and I'll talk to you next year.
All righty, sir. You have a good holiday. All right, I'm going to end the show there with my favorite, one of my favorites. I don't really have an exact favorite, but one of my favorite Warrior Soul songs, Fourth Reich. I can't talk tonight. Fourth Reich. Here we go. Good night, guys.
Terrorism against our nation will not stand. And now, if you join me in a moment of silence. I like to fish. You'll be.
In a cargo container.
And I hope it's not going to take another 9/11.
You have the proof.
Being backed by Iran and setting up camp on America's doorstep.
Challenge facing the United States is that we have to be right one time. I mean, 100% of the time. Stop the rise of the fourth Reich. Stop the rise of the fourth Reich. Stop the rise. Stop the rise. Destroy that war machine. Live in peace. Stop the rise of the fourth Reich. Win the truth from 9/11. Destroy that war machine. Live in peace. Destroy that war machine. Win the truth from 9/11. Destroy the war machine. Live in peace. Destroy the war machine. Win the truth from 9/11.
Alrighty. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight to Musical Osmosis. We will be back in 1 week with the Dead Milkmen, and then I believe 2 weeks after that with the cosplay band Soundhammer. Dee, thank you so much for sticking around and helping us through all our technical issues. As always, you are awesome. This is the part where I'm trying to drag out the last minute of the show. Because I want to give everybody the exact 60 minutes that I promised. But no, that was amazing. That was a big thrill for me to talk to somebody. And I wasn't just blowing smoke,
Very
man.
cool.
Korey's lyrics had a huge impact on me as a kid. And it really, really played into a big part of my punk writing. And just, I mean, attitude goes a long way, dude. Stage presence goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? Like, Iron Maiden, once again, not to take anything away from Iron Maiden and Dio, I had a Ronnie James Dio framed poster over my bed. I loved Dio.
Dude, you still, like, you loved it. I mean, come on. What else do you, like, sing to me in the car? It was, you know, like, it...
Yeah, definitely. But it didn't impact me in the same way that Warrior Soul did, because Warrior Soul had that attitude that kind of rubbed off on me and woke me up. Once again, when I talked about the Pissed, same type of situation. It grabbed me, it shook me, it woke me up. And, you know, how do you say thank you enough to somebody who has given you that, a complete stranger who has given you that higher knowledge? Anyways, guys, we're at the 30-second mark. I guess this is good enough to end. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Everybody have a safe and a very Merry Christmas. I can say that. Merry Christmas.
That's right.
Have
Merry
a good holiday.
Christmas.
All righty, guys. Good night.